Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is African American literature, and we're fortunate to have with us to talk about African American literature, Alana McLaughlin. Alana has been with us on a number of occasions, and I don't think that she's a stranger to members of this audience this morning. But Alana, let me welcome you to the show this morning and to tell you how delighted we are to have an opportunity to talk to you again about African American literature, especially about African American literature. But before we get into African American literature, Alana, let's have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of leading you to us this morning, and some of the future prospects that you have in reference to a number of things that you're doing. Let's talk about it from that perspective.
Well, as you've already stated, my name is Alana McLaughlin. I was born August 27th, 2002. I currently attend John Early Museum Magnet Middle School. I'm in the 6th grade, and I also participate in many extracurricular activities such as my school's debate team, and I've also been nominated to attend the Junior National Young Leaders Conference in Washington, D.C. the summer of 2014. I am also a very religious person. I grew up in a religious household. I go to church almost every Sunday, and I also participate in my church as an acolyte, and I do what I can to serve in any way that I possibly can.
Very good. And so, Alana, let's look at the topic that you're going to deal with this morning, African American literature, recognizing that African American literature starts during the period of slavery and et cetera and et cetera. And so let's have you to look at African American literature from that perspective and to talk about it at the way that you'd like to bring it to us this morning.
African American literature. When you think about African American literature, you could think about slave narratives, autobiographies, and even sermons, because it takes that many forms. Now, from writers to Phyllis Wheatley all the way to Toni Morrison. African American literature gives us African Americans a sense of achievement and pleasure in our writing, because it is a way we express ourselves when our words just possibly can. Now, one of the first published African American women was Miss Phyllis Wheatley. Now, Phyllis grew up a West African woman, and at the age of 7, she was taken to North America, where she was sold into slavery. She was bought by the Wheatley family of John Wheatley, his wife, and children, but when they first bought her, she was very frail, so they knew she couldn't do most field work. So as she started to get accustomed to them, they learned that she had magnificent talents in writing and poetry, and that she spoke with such articulate, she spoke in such an articulate manner that they didn't even believe she was a slave. So after they were convinced that this girl should be published, she wrote some of her first poems. She wrote her first poem in 1773, which was poems on various subjects, religious and moral. And so after that, she was published in places such, and she was published in places all over the world. And that's really how she was that's how she went to stardom. And now she was even praised by Jupiter Hammond in some of his poetry, where he praised her for the way she presented herself and the way she spoke in her literature. Now, after Phyllis Wheatley, there were more slave narratives, but they were mainly written by people who really wanted to stop slavery, or slaves who had gotten freedom and wanted to share their story. Now, even though she didn't write an actual narrative, Harriet Tubman used to speak out many times and talk about how she escaped from her Maryland plantation and became one of the most famous Underground Railroad conductors in the world in our history, and how she'd go for over 8 years. She'd go back to this plantation where all her horrors were, and she'd come back and she'd get over, in her time she got over 2,000 slaves. Now, going from Harriet Tubman to Frederick Douglass and all the books he made, he wrote various stories that really opened people's eyes about slavery, and even talking about Uncle Tom's Cabin, Harriet Beecher Stowe. People were outraged because she showed how slavery was really like. And see, as she did that, she was a Caucasian female, and people were like, well, she has no business doing this, because she wanted to speak for the people who had no voice. And so I praise her for really starting what I would like to call the blossoming of African American literature. Now, the official blossoming, which I'll go into in the second segment, will be the Harlem Renaissance.
Okay, well, so Lana, let's stop at that point, and let me have our first commercial break, and then we'll get back and we'll talk about some other aspects. And we'll be back with you following this short commercial break.